everybody, just making a quick feedback video for the Indices assessment that I asked you to submit last Thursday. I'm going to go through a few key questions where quite a few of us made a few mistakes, re-explaining some of those index laws. If you could please make sure that you're taking some thorough notes. Any questions that you got wrong, if you want to check which ones it was that you did get wrong, I know I have given you feedback, but if you click the link in Show My Homework, it should allow you to go back and view which ones you got wrong and look at the feedback. I'm going to start with question 4. Question 4 has 4 to the power of -2. I know that a negative power means find the reciprocal. So I need to find the reciprocal of whatever the base is. Finding the reciprocal of 4 gives me a quarter. Okay, so I've used that negative part of the power, so that power needs to disappear now, but I still have the power of 2 on the top that I had originally. So the change is I've found the reciprocal of whatever the base was, and then the negative has now disappeared out of my power. I've put it into brackets there because it reminds me that I need to square everything, the top of the fraction and the bottom of the fraction, not just the 4. Okay, so I'm going to square everything. 1 squared is 1, 4 squared is 16. There are 3 questions there. If you could please pause the video and have a go at those 3 if you got that question wrong. If not, you can carry on playing and I'll move on to question 5 shortly. Okay, first one, 5 to the power of -3 is the same as 1 over 5 all cubed. I found the reciprocal, which is the negative power. I need to cube everything. That gives me 1 over 125. Okay, so that is your answer there. Sorry, I forgot to put my equal signs in. 3 to the power of -2. Well, I'm going to find the reciprocal of 3 first, which is a third, and then I'm going to square it all. So that gives me 1 over 9. And then finally, I've got a fraction this time, and it's got a negative power, so I need to find the reciprocal of the fraction of half, which is 2. I've still got that power of 2 there. That's not disappeared, it's just the negative bit that disappeared. I could put that into brackets, but it's not necessary, which gives me 4. So your 2 answers, the 3 answers are 1 over 125, 1 over 9, and 4. Next one that people got wrong, I'm not going to ask you to try any of these because it's the same index law. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1, whether that is a letter to the power of 0, whether that is really something complicated, all to the power of 0, it always equals 1. Question 9. I know that we know the index law for this, but a few of us did make a mistake. Quite a few of us wrote 125 to the power of 12. Some of us put something different. The base always stays the same. It's just the power that I'm affecting. Okay, so I'm going to have this raised to the power of 3. In my index order, I know I multiply those powers, which gives me 5 to the power of 12. If you got question 9 wrong, please pause the video and have a go at these 3. If you got them correct, then you can carry on watching. Okay, first one, when I multiply the powers, I get 3 to the power of 10. This one I get 4 to the power of -5. It is possible to have a negative on one of these powers. And this time when I multiply them, I've got 4 times a half, which is the same as half of 4, which is 5 to the power of 2. Okay, question 11. I have 64 to the power of a half. If I have a power and it has a denominator, I need to use the denominator to root. So if there's a 2 on the denominator, I square root. If there's a 3 on the denominator, I cube root, and so on. So I'm going to square root 64, which is 8. Okay, 2 questions for you to have a go at. First one is 36 to the power of a half, and the second one is a quarter to the power of half. If you got this question wrong, please watch this. Please pause the video, and have a go. Okay, first one, I'm going to square root 36, which is 6. And this one I need to square root everything. I'm going to square root the 1 and I'm going to square root the 4, which gives me a half. So 6 and a half for my 2 answers. Okay, moving on. Next one that we got wrong, particular difficult question for us, was question 12. A lot of us wrote here 20 to the power of 20. Some of us wrote 20 to the power of 9, etc. However, or 9 to the power of 9. However, you cannot simplify. It's not possible. You can only simplify if the base, the thing that has got the power on it, is the same. Different to this. If I had this, then the thing with the base is the letter, oops, that should be an A, sorry. The thing with the base is the letter A. I can simplify that because the thing with the power on, the A squared and the A cubed, is the same. The 4 and the 5 are just numbers which are multiplying the base. Here is the thing with the power on, which is the base. These things are different, so it cannot be done. Question 13, if you got this one wrong, please pay attention. Having the squared on the outside does mean that I need to make that A to the power of 8. Quite a lot of us managed to get that right, but it does not mean 5 times 2, it means 5 squared. I'm doing 5 squared and I'm doing A to the power of 4 squared, which gives me the A to the power of 8. Okay, so it's 25 A to the power of 8, not 10. Again, have a go at these two questions underneath if you struggled on that one. First one, I need to cube the 4, which is 64, 4 times 4 times 4, and then I need to do b to the power of 6. This one I need to cube everything. Well, I need to cube the whole fraction, so 1 cubed is 1, 3 cubed is 27, and then I've got c to the power of 15. You could also write it like this, c to the power of 15 over 27. Both of those answers are acceptable. Okay, moving on, question 14. Very, very similar to question 13. In the sense that I've got something in a bracket raised to a power, but this time I need to be careful because the power is a half. That half means square root the number. And I've also got a to the power of 8 being raised to the power of a half. It is also square root in that, but it looks a little bit nice like this. So I've got 3a to the power of 4. Pause the video here and have a go at these two questions if that is something you got wrong. Okay, first one, square root of 49 is 7, and then I've got b to the power of 2 because 4 times a half is 2. This one, square root of 81 is 9, c to the power of 10, and then the 10 times a half gives me c to the power of 5. Okay, question 16 and question 18 were very similar. 27 to the power of 4 over 3 and 8 to the power of 4 over 3. The order in which I need to apply my indices is I check for a negative power first. If it has a negative power, then I find the reciprocal. If it doesn't, then I move on to the denominator. If it has a denominator, I use it. If it doesn't, then I move on to the numerator or the power. Okay, so first thing I check, is there a negative? There isn't, so I don't need to find the reciprocal, but there is a denominator of a 3. If I have a denominator of a 3, then it means cube root. So I need to cube root 27, and then whatever answer I get, I do to the power of 4. Cube root of 27 is 3. 3 to the power of 4 is 81. Do the same on this one, question 18. I cube root 8 first, and then whatever I get, I raise it to the power of 4. Cube root of 8 is 2, and then I do 2 to the power of 4, which is 16. Have a go at these two questions by pausing the video if you got them wrong. Okay, first one I need to square root 9, and then I need to cube it. So square root of 9 is 3. 3 cubed is 27. This one I need to fourth root 81. Well, I already know that 3 to the power of 4 is 81, sorry. So fourth root of 81 is 3. 3 cubed is 27. You'll notice that 27 to the power of 4 over 3 and 81 to the power of 3 over 4, my answers interchange, and you'll notice the numerator and denominator have swapped there. Okay, final few. Question 17. This is the one where I really, really want you to pay attention. Question 17 and 19. Question 17 was tricky because there are 3 components. As I said before, the order is negative, then denominator, then numerator, in that order. So I'm going to check for the negative thing first. Negative power means find the reciprocal. So I need to find the reciprocal of 27, which is 1 over 27. I've still got the power of 2/3. Notice how that fraction doesn't flip over. The reciprocal is just of the base, not of the power. Then I need to cube root. So I need to cube root 1 and I need to cube root 27. And I've still got that numerator power over 2. Cube root of 1 is 1. Cube root of 27 is 3. I'm squaring everything. Again, keep it in brackets to remind me to square everything. 1 squared is 1, 3 squared is 9. have a go at those two questions if you got that wrong on the assessment. Okay, first one. There is a negative power, so I need to find the reciprocal first. Find the reciprocal gives me a quarter. I've still got the power of 3 over 2. Again, the power doesn't flip, it's just the original base. I then need to square root, because there's a 2 on the bottom, so I need to square root 1 and square root 4. And my answer I need to cube. So it's 1 over 2 cubed, which is 1 over 8. This one, find the reciprocal, 1 over 64 to the power of 2/3, cube root, which gives me 1 over 4. I need to square it still, and that gives me 1 over 16. Okay, got 2 questions to go. Question 19 was very, very similar to the last one, but a few of us found it a little bit more tricky. I think it's because there's a fraction in the original number, the base, and also in the power. Same thing again. I do my negative bit first, then my denominator, and then my numerator last. Okay, so I do my negative power first. Negative means find the reciprocal, so I need to find the reciprocal of this fraction. If it's a fraction, I can just flip it, so my denominator and numerator change directions. Again, my power stays exactly the same, it's just the negative part that's disappeared. The 3 means cube root everything. I'm in the practice now and in the habit that I know what cube root of 27 is, it's 3, and the cube root of 8 is 2. I've still got that power of 2 in the numerator. Need to square everything now, gives me 9 over 4. Please pause the video and have a go at those 2 questions if you got question 19 wrong in the assessment. Okay, first one. I've got a negative power, so which means find the reciprocal, so 49 over 4. Still got a power of 3 over 2. Square root everything, 7 over 2. Still to the power of 3, and then I need to cube everything. 7 cubed is 343, and 2 cubed is 8. Last one. Negative means find the reciprocal. 125 over 1 is the same as 125, so I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to have it to the power of 2/3. Again, I can put it into brackets if I want to, but I don't need to if there's only one number in the base. Cube root that. Cube root of 125 is 5. Still got that power of 2, 5 squared, which gives me 25. Final one, which I think is actually probably the trickiest question on the whole assessment, is writing something which is not in powers of 3 into a power of 3. First thing I notice is that 9 is the same as 3 squared, and I've still got that to the power of 3, so I'm going to write that in brackets with a little 3 above it. 27 is 3 cubed, so I'm going to write 3 cubed, and again I'm going to put it in brackets and I'm going to put the little squared above it. That gives me 3 to the power of 6 times by 3 to the power of 6, and I know that if I'm multiplying two bases with the powers, I add the powers. That gives me 3 to the power of 12. Final time, pause the video and have a go at those 2 questions. Okay, so this one is 2 cubed. If you notice, it says write it in powers of 2, and that is going to be squared, and then I've got 2 squared, which is 4 to the power of 4. That gives me 2 to the power of 6 times 2 to the power of 8, or 2 to the power of 14 overall. 16 is 2 to the power of 4, that's cubed, and then 32 is 2 to the power of 5, that's squared. That gives me 2 to the power of 12 times 2 to the power of 10, or 2 to the power of 22.